Good evening and welcome to meeting number 214 of Turning Point Toastmasters. Let's have a huge round of applause. Let's show some energy, people. Great. I will start by stating the club mission. You are now inside the code of conduct of a Toastmasters meeting. Please be advised that the meeting is being recorded. It may be possible to pause the recording if you so desire. As for the club mission, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. As a meeting, we have to follow certain rules, and here are the rules for the audience. Please be advised that any behavior that disturbs the flow of the meeting will result in immediate removal from the meeting room without any warning. Please ensure that your noise-making devices are either switched off or on silent mode. Please speak responsibly on religion, sex, and politics in your speeches if you're going to do so. As far as possible, keep your videos on, audios off, and applause flowing throughout. For the role players, the rules are as follows. Toastmaster of the day, table topics master, general evaluator. Please ensure a smart audio video check before you hand over to respective role players. Role players, please ensure that you have renamed yourself properly as role player - your name - your club. You may omit the club name if you are a member of Turning Point Toastmasters. Please do so now. Otherwise, in the table topics, the people who've not played a role, they do not get a chance. Please acquaint yourself with the role of the timer. The timer today is Rama. Rama will be using screen sharing to indicate the time using one of three cards. Green means that you have reached the minimum qualifying time. Yellow means it's a good time for you to start concluding, and red specifies that you've got 30 seconds or more, 30 seconds more, or you will be disqualified. Individual session timings will be explained in due time. Zoom behaviors. We encourage you to use the Zoom emoticons generously when you are encouraging the speakers. For example, I just applauded for myself, and I'm very modest also and humble. That's beside the point. We sincerely request you not to send just chat messages to everyone or the speaker on stage. In fact, try to refrain from chatting altogether. Focus on the speaker. Reiterating, please stay on mute until specifically requested to unmute. Now, if I was to summarize all of these rules inside one sentence, I would say, be the kind of audience you would want for yourself. Having said that, I would like to tell you that polls will be launched after each section and they will be closed after 30 seconds. And now I would like to introduce our presiding officer. And I thought of the perfect adjective that could be used to describe Anshuman. I must say that I kind of failed at that. And then the best adjective came up, and that adjective would be happy. Anshuman chooses happiness. He's especially happy today. He will tell you why. And he chooses to share his happiness with others. One of the things that I like and love about him. With a huge round of applause, let us welcome Toastmaster Anshuman Mishra as our presiding officer. Anshuman, take it away.
Sorry for that awkward pause. My Windows menu somehow came up. I am happy today because I see a lot of my fellow seniors, peers, they're in Kolkata, hanging around together, defining how the next 1 year for District 41 will look like. I think any kind of gathering, even I'm not part of it, makes me feel delightful. And I'm quite sure Rupinder, Anant, Ragini, Nemit, everyone around in Kolkata will have a gala time and will come back to us with the checklist of Hall of Fame of how Turning Point Toastmasters can achieve Hall of Fame back again. Till we await that, I, sitting out here in Noida, is experiencing a rainy weather, which definitely makes me quite delightful. While I was thinking about Toastmasters, I realized that one of the greatest philosophies of Toastmasters has been the core values which any of a Toastmaster club has. Any one of you, do you know what are the 4 core values of a Toastmaster club? Not Rupinder.
Integrity, service, excellence, respect.
Amazing. A huge round of applause for Samridhi. Initially, it was very difficult for me to remember, but when I started to learn the meaning behind all of it, I realized how much it means for each of the club. We all know Toastmasters is a non-for-profit organization. All of us gather together to make sure that we build a very healthy community for all of us to learn and grow in the aspects of leadership and communication week over week without any personal profit. The only profit we gain is the growth and learning that we have. Be the EC which assembles for 1.5 hours every second week to debate out fiercely how the next 2 weeks will look like, to each of the members who works on the path of the pathways to grow in the field of public speaking. All of us are working very hard from an excellence, integrity, respect, and service point of view to make Turning Point Toastmasters one of the best clubs around, not even in District 41, but across the globe. And today we have the ex-president of Turning Point Toastmaster Unique, who has added to the philosophies of building the structure of this club. And today we'll be presenting to you an interesting theme, philosophy one-on-one, and guide us on how we can improve our logical, philosophical thinking. Over to you, Toastmaster Unique.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anshuman, for that very generous introduction, and I hope I do justice to the introduction. First of all, I'll share my credentials so I can speak out about this topic. I have done my bachelor's and my master's in philosophy from YouTube University and applied Google searching. So you know that I'm legit. You can listen to me. So starting with a very basic question, which every philosophy is centered around: what is the meaning of life? You can share your opinion on the chat window, or if you want to share it by speaking, you can just raise your hands. By your actual hands. I don't see the virtual hands, so you can raise your hand or share it in chat window. Meanwhile, we can continue. I will read as I get your opinions. And for my particular session, whenever I am on the stage, please feel free to engage in the chat box and share your views. But don't do it when other speakers are on the stage. But when I am, you can freely use the chat window. So every philosophy needs to answer this question: that what's the meaning of life? While I haven't got any response yet, but I'm assuming that we all have our philosophy in life, and some till about 18th century there was only one philosophy that existed, which was called essentialism. So what is essentialism? Essentialism is derived from the word essence. So it means that whatever your essence of living, whatever you whatever you are here on the earth for, that is determined before you are born. So it is written into your destiny, or written for you before you are even born. So your meaning of life is defined before you know. Before you even are born, so basically your destiny is decided, and your meaning for which you will strive in life is decided. But I have a question for this. If you or anybody who believes in this, I have a question, or rather a problem to discuss. So, for example, there is a war going on between forces of good and evil. Let's say that your country or any country is fighting another country, and you know that your country is right in fighting. So you decide to enroll in the army to defend. But at the same time, you have a mother at your home who's very sick and very elderly and needs your care. So in that case, what does the meaning of life tell you to take which direction? Should you go to the army, or should you stay at home and take care of your sick mother? Keep your thoughts to yourself for now, because first let's get into what is, I'll get back to this discussion later when I come back. For now, let me introduce you to structure of a Toastmasters meeting. A Toastmaster meeting basically comprises of three sections. The first is the prepared speeches section. We have three speakers who will deliver a prepared speech, and their evaluators will be evaluating them. The second section is impromptu speaking, the table topic session. So in that, guests and members will be given a topic and they have to speak on that impromptu. And the third section is the evaluation section, where we will get feedback about how all we did. So to introduce the evaluation section, let me welcome on stage our general evaluator for the day. She's also the sergeant at arms for this club and a very active member. Let's welcome on stage Toastmaster Arunima Bindal.
Thank you, Toastmaster Unique. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As you all know, that everything needs an evaluation. Whatever we do needs to be evaluated to get better results and enhance our performance. So my role today, being a general evaluator, is to evaluate the meeting as the whole, and I am supported by the team of evaluators and my tag team who will be helping me out in managing the evaluation smoothly. So we have today timer for the day, Toastmaster Rama. She will be displaying the green card, yellow card, and red cards as per the requirements of the speech. Then we have our counter for today, who is our guest, DTM Sourindra. And last, the grammarian for the day, Sandeep Yadav. Sandeep will be displaying a word of the day and he'll be explaining his role. Let's hear from Sandeep. Sandeep, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster ma'am. Good evening, Toastmasters and my dear guests. I am Toastmaster Sandeep and I will be the grammarian for today. So as a grammarian, my role will be to listen carefully to all the speakers and note down the words which are used by Toastmasters, and I will also take down the note on improper use of the English language and any other words, outstanding words or quotes or sayings or thoughts, and I will present my report at the end of the meeting. And for today's word of the day, so which means daring, bold, and it could be extremely original. So here is an example. The car maker's audacious goal is to compete with the luxury cars of other manufacturers. I will write down the word of the day in the chat for all of you to refer. Thank you so much. I will be back with my report at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sandeep. So we also have our evaluators with us for evaluating the speech, and I will present my report at the end of the meeting when called upon along with my tag team and the evaluators. With this, let's hear more about philosophy from the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Unique. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arunima, for brilliantly explaining your role. And to my question, so what do you guys think? Anybody wants to share their opinion about the problem? Should you go fight the army, or you should stay at home and take care of your sick mother? You can unmute yourself and share, or you can write in the chat window. Any thoughts? Yes, Toastmaster Vijay. Yeah, sure.
I would say I will be there for my mother. I would say that because it's good to say I'll be with my country, I'll serve my country, but I think as in person, I would be there for my mother and stay there because I don't think it's my opinion. Just
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else wants to share their opinion? Yeah, Toastmaster Rupinder.
Uh, when you are in the army, Unique, there is a code you follow. It's unit, country, unit, code, country, God. So it's in that order. Unit, code, country, God. Your unit comes first, then the code of conduct, then the country, and after that, God. Mother does not feature anywhere. So
Okay. So actually, the problem was that will you enroll in the army or will you take care of your mother? You are not yet in the army.
difficult question. Probably mother, because I would feel closer to her.
Okay. I think Toastmaster Vijaya also wants to share.
Yeah, from the philosophical point of view, I read Bhagavad Gita on a regular basis. Arjuna was in that situation also. So when you are in a situation where your duty comes first, and what is your duty? Swadharma. Krishna calls it Swadharma. Your duty is towards your people who are around you first. Take care of your mother. That is your primary Swadharma. Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava. First you take care of your people, your parents, your spouse, your children. That is, if every citizen does that, then there is no conflict. There is no war. Because we always look outside of us, there is a difference in opinion, difference in people, because we are using these 5 senses. These 5 senses are projected outside. But we have to be able to see the inside, and the presence that is in this body is the same in every body. That is my opinion.
So your opinion is you would take care of the mother, and I think Diana is also saying that she would take care of her mother. But Toastmaster Rupinder briefly, yeah. Anybody else wants to go? Wants to share their opinion?
Yes,
Yeah,
I would
Madhav.
like to go. So
Yeah,
there's
Madhav.
this philosopher Plato. He wrote this dialogue, Crito, I think it was the name of the dialogue, and in which he discussed many philosophical questions like the one we are discussing over here. And towards the end, and I read this book which discussed the dialogue and the conclusion that we can make out of the dialogue. So the conclusion was that for any philosophical question or any philosophical dilemma, there isn't any perfect answer. So it totally depends on the for example, if Rupinder says that there's this code in army, but if I am in such a in an army which follows this code, then I would probably go with army, go for the fight. But if I am in an army which is more of a, how would I say, unorganized or such kind of an army, so I would probably take care of my mother. So yeah, it depends.
Okay. Okay. So I think there can be varying point of views here. But if we go, yeah, Diana, I think you said you will take care of your mother, right? You wrote in the chat box. Yeah, we got your answer. Yeah. So I think there are varying viewpoints here. Yeah. Okay, Diana, I think. Yeah. I think Diana is saying that she will take care of mother as far as I can see the chat box. So there can be varied options one can take. But if there is a predefined meaning in the life, then how can those variations come if everybody has the same meaning in the life? So that is where the second school of philosophy comes, which is known as existentialism. They say that life inherently has no meaning. It has the meaning that you make out of it. So whatever is your values, you can take decision up to that because there is inherently no meaning in the life. So that is called existentialism, and this came into light basically after the 18th century when basically there was a decline in religion due to First World War and Second World War. I'll cut this short because timer is already showing me red card, but don't worry, I'll make up by taking less time in the next section. And with that, let's move to the speeches section for today. So in prepared speeches section, the prepared speakers will present their speech. And we have our first speaker with us today. Our first speaker was an ex-treasurer for Turning Point Toastmasters and currently is an EC officer in our sister club, Spearhead Toastmasters Club. He's one of the most diligent people you will ever come across. And if there is any certainty in life, apart from sun rising in the morning, the second is that Surjit will be taking a role in every meeting. So with that, we will welcome him. But before that, let's welcome his evaluator on the stage. She took this role impromptu. She's joining us from Boston. Let's welcome on stage Toastmaster Vijaya Jayaraman for reading the objectives of Toastmaster Surjit.
Oh, I think the speaker is Sanjeev, right?
Surjit.
Surjit. Okay. He's speaking on icebreaker. I'm not sure if which pathways. Is he the first time Toastmaster, or he is repeating after a DTM or something, or level 1? I don't know the details. I'm sorry, fellow Toastmasters. He's in innovative planning icebreaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vijay. And note to the timer, the speech timing is 4 to 6 minutes. Green at 4, yellow at 5, and red at 6. And with that, let's welcome on stage Toastmaster Surjit. Toastmaster Surjit, life journey, Toastmaster Surjit.
Thank you, Mr. Timot. Commanding Officer. Gentlemen, we have received the orders from High Command that leave this post and move to some safe place, because we are only 120 in numbers and enemy has attacked with a full regiment with 2,000 men. Now we have to take the decision. Either we have to leave this post or fight. Now they took the decision for which Indian Army is known for. They decided to stay there and fight till last breath. Enemy soldiers were so large in number that these 120 soldiers from Indian side were so brave that they forced enemy soldiers to run away. During this battle, half of the soldiers from enemy side died. And from Indian side, only 15 to 20 soldiers survived and rest laid their life for their motherland. Fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, good evening. Now you may be thinking that this may be the story of some movie. But this is not the story of movie, this is the real story from a battle between India and Pakistan in Sham area in Jammu and Kashmir. And my father had told me this story because he was one of the luckiest soldier who survived in that battle. My father also told me numerous stories about their valor, and that encouraged me to join Indian Army. I tried many times, but I could not crack the interview. So after graduation, I did MCA from University of Jammu. After MCA, I came to Delhi in search of job. In 2006, I got my first job in Pearl Global Limited. After that, I joined Astra Business Services, and now I am working in Milliman India Private Limited. In Milliman, for some time, everything was going smooth. Until few years back, I started realizing that something is missing in life. But what that thing, I didn't have any idea. Sometime I become frustrated. I learned meditations from many ashrams and meditation centers. What my search ended at Yoga Satsang Society. I learned many meditation techniques and Kriya Yoga from Yoga Satsang Society. The Kriya and meditation calms my mind and body. After that, I learned NLP from Ram Verma sir in 2017. When I learned NLP, that cleared my many doors in my mind. So I decided that I will teach these to people. But there were two things which were stopping me from achieving that goal. One was my shy nature, and second was my lack of confidence. So one of my friend suggested me to join Toastmaster. But due to some family issues and procrastination, I could not join at that time. Finally, in 2019, I joined Toastmasters. The first club which I joined was not of much help. So I came to Turning Point Toastmasters. In Turning Point, I met many wonderful people like Anant, Rupinder, Bhuvan, and many more people. Some are still sitting in this meeting. They were so encouraging that I started gaining confidence. And now this journey is still going on in Spearhead Toastmasters. Overall, my life journey had many ups and downs, but I kept my morale high. Life, I kept my morale high, and in and now I am. My life journey started with a dream of becoming an army officer, but I became software engineer. Now I am heading towards a new goal of becoming a mind and wellness coach. I am very encouraged and happy for this goal because I have attached this goal with my life purpose. My life purpose is to see smile on everyone's face. Life teaches us lesson at every stage, and we should patiently learn that lesson and move on this life journey. That's the life. Thank you. Now over to our Toastmaster of the day, Mr. Junaid.
Thank you, Toastmaster Surjit, and let's have a huge round of applause. It's a tradition to give a standing ovation to a icebreaker, but in the virtual environment, it's not possible. But let's have a huge round of applause. I request a 1 minute of silence for writing your feedback on a personal window to the speaker. Timer, please notify at the end of 1 minute.
Quick question. We send the evaluation through chat or we have a
No, you will be
verbal
invited on the
evaluation?
stage.
We have
Yeah,
a
you will be invited on the stage later. Meanwhile, I would like to do the audio and video check with the second speaker in case she's ready. Samridhi, yeah, try speaking a sentence.
Hi, Unique. Am I audible as well as visible?
Yes, you're audible and visible. Thank you, Toastmaster Rama, for notifying about the time. Now let's move to our second speaker. She has just joined this club not very recently, but I think she's already one of the one of the cornerstones of this club as far as excellence in meeting is concerned. Every week she takes a role and gives her 100% to it. She's a CA by profession and a true Toastmaster by heart. But before welcoming her, I would like to welcome on stage her evaluator. Just give me a second.
Unique spotlight, he's Madhav.
Oh yeah. I would like to welcome his second evaluator, Madhav, who is also the secretary for our club. Over to you, Toastmaster Madhav.
Thank you, Unique. Toastmaster Samridhi is attempting project 2 of level 3 of dynamic leadership pathways. The purpose of her speech is to practice delivering social speeches in front of club members. Timer, please note that the timing of her speech is 3 to 4 minutes. All the best, Samridhi. Looking forward to your speech. Over to you, Unique.
Thank you, Toastmaster Madhav. Samridhi has a very tippy title for her speech. So, Samridhi, you can correct me during your speech in case I mispronunciate it. So, Toastmaster Samridhi, Toastmasters Extraordinaire, Toastmasters Extraordinaire, Toastmaster Samridhi.
I would just like to, yeah, okay. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. The first ever meeting that I attended at this very club, there was a very smart and a dynamic personality performing the role of Toastmaster of the Day, who was reminiscing his days at Turning Point. I was about to leave the club. My heart sank to know that the person I would have loved to be mentored by was leaving the club. He sounded so convincing that I believed that he was actually about to leave the club. And to my utter surprise, it was all a game. I was able to witness his ability to persuade people. Following that, I heard him as a speaker who was depicting his love for esports, FIFA in particular. Trust me, I don't know anything about esports or FIFA. However, I was awestruck to see the ease and poise with which he was delivering. He was extremely comfortable in doing that. I was simply impressed with his demeanor. When I had my first conversation with the mentor assigned to me, I was asked who my first choice as my mentor at Turning Point was. Without hesitation, I said, Anshuman Mishra. Yes, he is the one I'm talking about. Our very charming, most endearing, and super talented Mr. President Anshuman Mishra. Finally, one day, my wish was granted, and Anshuman became my mentor. Whenever I told him of any of my achievements, he would simply message super along with a lot of happy emoticons. I always feel that his love for emoticons is so much that his keypad should actually be replaced by emoticons instead of the alphabets and numbers. Jokes apart, I think those emoticons are his way of celebrating the success of his projects. Nobody can match his sense of humor. I was astonished to see the prankster side of him when a fellow Toastmaster was managing a difficult audience project. He is one of the few persons that I know who actually feel happy in the success of others. I think this is one quality that makes him a leader in true sense. He's an astute person with a judicious mind. And we at Turning Point Toastmasters are extremely fortunate to have him as our president. He may not be a distinguished Toastmaster yet. However, I think he is much more than that. He is a distinguished human being, and due to his new responsibilities, he is unable to mentor me anymore. This makes me sad. However, I'm extremely delighted that he is leading my club, Turning Point Toastmasters, towards excellence. So here's the cheers to a new beginning under your leadership. Cheers to your leadership, Toastmaster Anshuman. With this, I hand over the stage back to the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Samridhi, for that brilliant toast. And let's have 1 minute of silence for writing feedback. And for Anshuman, I am going to address you as Anshuman DHP, Distinguished Human Being from now. Meanwhile, we can audio to check with speaker 3, Priyanka. Priyanka, you can unmute yourself and say a sentence. Yeah, I'll continue with the introduction and let's have audio to check later. So our next speaker is Toastmaster Priyanka. She is one of the main contributors to our education program. She diligently works with the education team, which currently I am also a part of, to find all the role players and managing the events, managing the meetings to best in the best possible way. She's a bubble of energy when you meet her in a physical meeting, and she's always up to take any role. So before starting, just to mention, she also studies earthquakes. So maybe that is something she can put some light on. But later, first let me welcome her speech evaluator, Toastmaster Megha. Toastmaster Megha is from Gurgaon Toastmasters Club, and she has graciously helped us with taking this role. Over to you, Toastmaster Megha. You're not audible, Toastmaster Megha. No, you are not audible.
Am I audible now?
Yes, you're audible now. Yes. It's again gone. Um, do you want me to read the speech objectives for? No, you are not audible yet. I can read the speech objectives if you want. I'll do that. Just give me a second. Toastmaster Megha, can you try again in case you have fixed anything? Toastmaster Priyanka is delivering her speech from the path innovative planning. It's a level 3 elective project. The title is connecting with storytelling. The speech timings are 5 to 7 minutes, and the purpose of the speech is to engage the audience with a story. So with that, I would yes, you're audible.
It connected through phone. Really sorry, I don't know what problem went.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
you can briefly introduce. Yeah.
Yes. Priyanka is delivering project from level 3, and the project is to connect with storytelling. Wish you all the best, Priyanka.
Thank you, Toastmaster Megha. And with that delay, I would like to welcome on stage Toastmaster Priyanka. Toastmaster Priyanka, can we do an audio video check?
Hello, Unique. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, you're audible and visible. Toastmaster Priyanka, the grass is greener on the other side. The grass is greener on the other side, Toastmaster Priyanka.
My dear Toastmasters and guests, when my mom prepared a delicious dish, she equally divided among the siblings. And I always thought that my sister got the bigger portion than mine. Raise your hands if you always also felt the same way. Yes, you understand my pain. Later, when I went to school on my bicycle, I always thought that my friends has better bicycle than mine. Not even school, not even my sister. Even when I went for shopping, after shopping, I used to think that the dresses which I left in the trial room are better than the ones I bought. The grass was always greener on the other side for me. Well, talking about the grass and the bicycles, Let me share with you my recent experience. I stay in IIT Hyderabad campus, green campus. And we have also a green office who gives bicycles on rent. I also took one. I started riding the bicycle on the long campus, long roads of the campus, and started enjoying my riding. After a few days, I saw my friend riding a geared bicycle. Then I saw my bicycle, and I felt as if I'm riding a 19th century bicycle. I immediately rushed to the green office and asked for the geared bicycle. And I got one. I came back, started riding a bicycle again. After a few days, my geared bicycle got punctured. I was standing with the punctured tire under the scorching sun of Hyderabad. I was so angry. I stormed into the green office and complained about my bicycle. And I told them to get me a better bicycle. They asked me to wait for the repair guy to come to the campus and get it repaired. I told, why should I wait? All of my friends who got bicycles from the green office, none of them had any issue. Why should I wait? I want a better bicycle. No. I don't want a better bicycle. I want a new bicycle which you have got recently. I want a new one. After so much of argument, they finally gave me a new one. I deserve it. Then I was so happy. I started riding my new bicycle again. And I started enjoying my bicycle riding. And after a Sunday, I bumped into my buddies and I bragged about my new bicycle. To my surprise, they said, ew, who rides a yellow colored bicycle? Priyanka, you're looking like a cartoon. And surprisingly, since that day, my cycle started looking pale day by day, like a poorly made omelette. I started wondering, how would I know which bicycle is best for me? How would I know which is better decision for me? Which is my better choice? Why is there a problem in every single of my choice? All these thoughts made me stop riding the bicycle. One evening, my sister called me. I shared with her my sad story of bicycles. She told, when mom bought us the bicycles, both her bicycles were similar. Only the difference was every week she got her bicycle repaired and got it oiled and maintained. That is why she had never a single issue in her bicycle. She told it was not about which bicycle I get. It is about how do I take care of it. Oh, that the whole night I could not sleep. My sister's voice was ringing in my head. I started recalling all of my choices, decisions I made in my life, starting from career to shopping to bicycles, everything. I realized that I never appreciated any of my choice. I was never in content with them. After hours of introspection, I realized that it is never about the choice I made. It is never about which bicycle I get. It is always about once after I make a choice, how do I make better? How do I make that choice better? The the grass will be always greener on the other side until we start watering our side of the grass. The next day, I went to the parking lot. I took the bicycle, pumped air into the tires, and started riding. Yesterday, it got punctured. I did not go to the green office. I didn't complain. I went to the repair center, waited for an hour, got it repaired, and today I rode for 5 kilometers in the evening. Can you see my sweat? Yeah. Thank you very much. Over to you, Toastmaster Vade.
Thank you, Toastmaster Priyanka, for such a wonderful speech. I would request the poll master to please launch the polls for the best speaker, and also we can have a selfie after that. And please notify us after 1 minute. And meanwhile, while hearing your speech, Toastmaster Priyanka, was wondering that you do so much cycling. When do you get the time to study in IIT?
Meanwhile, I study sometimes for few hours.
The polls have been launched, and you can vote for the best speaker. And I would also request that everybody start turning on their videos. We'll be having a selfie or a group fee, as they call it, or a Zoom fee, some people call it, whatever you call it. But please switch on your videos, and after the timer shows the red card, we'll be having a selfie. And I would request someone to take it. Toastmaster Rupinder, would you be able to do it? Or someone else can volunteer if possible. Okay, Toastmaster Anshuman will do it. Yeah, and I request again for those who haven't switched on the videos, please do so. And 1 minute is up. Toastmaster Anshuman, let's have a group fee, and you can tell what poses to make.
It's unique. So the theme is philosophy, something to do with the brain, maybe about pointing to the brain or thinking. How do you make it? Okay, yeah, a thinking pose. Everyone ready with the thinking pose? As if you're thinking. Because Shreyas is thinking. Ishwari started thinking right now. Jim is thinking very deeply. Madhav, I don't know, is doing thinking. Yes, Madhav is doing his form of thinking. Yes, 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1. Done. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anshuman. And with that, we conclude our prepared speeches section. Now, I have a riddle for you, for all of you, and the riddle goes like this: there is a person whose hands and feet have been tied, and is hanging off a 100-feet tree, a branch of a 100-feet tree by his mouth. So the branch is in his mouth, and that is the only thing keeping him from falling. So he's in such a precarious situation, and he knows that anyway, anytime the strength of his jaws can give up, and he can sink onto the ground 100 feet and die. Meanwhile, while this all was going on, there was a wise man who passed below him and saw his situation. So the wise man told him, say that one thing that shall set your life, that shall set you free. So the predicament here is that as soon as he opens his mouth to say anything, he will fall and he will die. but the wise man is asking him to say something that will save his life. What is the solution? Well, that is for all of you to figure out. And meanwhile, you can think. And when I will come back, you can maybe share your answer in the chat window. But on a similar theme, the next section is on a similar theme. Is the table topic section. And to introduce the table topic section, I will just say it's an impromptu section. But to introduce and explain what the session is, let me welcome on stage our president, and whom you just heard a lot of praises about. And so I will not have to give praise to him again. So welcome on stage, Toastmaster and Shona.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Unique. I don't think I'm praiseworthy for its gifts. I think I've already started getting nominations for table topic. That's so amazing. But before we begin, today we're going to start with a warm-up exercise. Table topics, just for the interest of the guest, is practicing the art of impromptu speaking. For example, you go to an interview, you go for a group discussion, you're given a topic and you have to speak right away. For a lot of us, it's quite challenging, right? So there are quite a few warm-up exercises you can do in private to make sure you're a better table topic speaker. Number one, as like during childhood days when we used to read out, say, newspaper aloud or book aloud, take out a newspaper, take out a book, read it out aloud as much as possible. It will increase your diction ability, will help you realize how you're speaking. At the same time, it exercises your memory. Second is vlog, video vlog. Put it on YouTube, put it on Instagram. When you're speaking with a mirror, you don't realize what are the gaps you have. So once you start recording yourself, once you start putting it out on social media, you'll realize there's so many gaps in your speaking which you don't realize. And last, we're going to practice something right now for a minute and then going to start with the table topics. So I requested you to have a pen and paper. What you have to do is, I'm going to give you a letter, and within 30 seconds, you have to write down as many words as possible for the letter. Sounds easy. And whoever has a maximum words wins or something. But yeah, like this for practice. So the letter for you is, I hope you have your pen and paper ready, is F. Time starts right away. Like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. All right. How many did you have? Can you put it in the chat? Be honest, obviously. Integrity is very core value of Toastmasters. Okay. Rajesh says 4. We have 7, 12, 13, 8. Fantastic. All right. So what table topics involves is, first of all, having information in your mind, brain, then extracting that information as you go, as you're giving the topic. So this is like a communication verbal exercise, which helps you hone that skill of retrieval. And the more you practice with different letters, you'll fascinatingly see over a period of weeks. I'm not saying within days you'll see results. Within weeks, you'll see fascinating results. So do practice it with F, A, S, D. Pick up a letter, take 30 seconds, take 1 minute, write as many words as possible. You'll start to struggle. You'll feel, oh my God, I took it for granted, but then you'll find to be fascinating. Moving on, thanks to the warm-up, I hope all of us are prepped up for the upcoming topics. We'll start with a senior Toastmaster, and like who better to start with than distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder Singh, who's already been called upon. So Rupinder, what we're going to do today is that since the theme is philosophy, we're going to talk about a few philosophical quotes. And the quote for you is, one cannot step twice in the same river. One cannot step twice into the same river, Rupinder.
Wow, that is an audacious topic. One cannot step twice into the same river. I think your logic is that if I take the first step, then the next step will mean that I'll probably drown into the river. But I could take a step, then I could take a step back. Then I could take another step, take that step back. Now I have stepped not twice, but 4 times. That back step also counts. And I could keep on doing it for as long as I want. Maybe I did not understand your question. I'm pretty sure that there is some philosophical point behind your argument. But here's the problem. I am not a philosophical person. Whenever somebody comes across with a philosophical argument, I try to temper it with rationality, often with disastrous results. So one day, my mother told me the story of how the marathon started. Apparently, in Greece, a messenger ran more than 42 kilometers to deliver a message, which was a very important message. And that person died after he delivered the message. And because he ran, it became to be known as marathon. Now, my mother took about 10 minutes to tell that story, and there were 5 of us who sat and listened to her. After 10 minutes, I asked my mother, did they time him? How much time did he take? My mother's response was not philosophical in nature. It was very physical. So you see, Mr. Topics Master, that I do have a challenge with topics that are philosophical in nature. But hey, I did prove to you that one can step more than twice in the same water. Back to you.
Quite a hilarious story, distinguished Toastmaster. Who do we have next? All right. Philosophy doesn't excite a lot of people, I see. Priyamvada, our newest member, will you like to go next?
Dana's hand is up. Right? She
Oh,
raises.
okay. Yes.
I would want to listen to 1 or 2 more so that I can just get it.
Sure. We'll come to you later. Diana, are you ready for your topic? All right, I'm assuming yes. And your topic is, the brave man is he who overcomes not only his enemies, but his pleasures. The brave man is he who overcomes not only his enemies, but his pleasures. Diana. Right, while Diana types out her answer, we can look for the next speaker. Shreyash, will you like to go next?
Yeah, sure.
I hope you have put your philosophy hat on. And please feel free to switch on your video if you want. So the only thing I know is that I know nothing. The only thing that I know is that I know nothing. Shreyash.
The only thing that I know is that I know nothing. So basically it's the, how do I put it? Like, it's basically the mind of a learner
a person who is a very knowledgeable person would say a thing like this, that the only thing that I know is I know nothing. Because most most learned persons, I had a teacher who told me that he was a physics teacher apparently, and he told me that I know you guys know a lot because you have been attending tuitions and all, so you guys know a lot. When you enter my class, remember that you know nothing, because if physics is water and your brains will be the glass, and I cannot pour more water into a glass which is already filled. So uh, I would say that, yeah, the people who actually know a lot and who hanker after learning, hanker after knowledge, only they will say such a thing, that the only thing I know is that I know nothing. Thank you.
Those were great insights, Shreyas. Thank you for sharing. Next, I see Sourindra sir's hand raised. Sourindra sir, will you like to go next?
Yeah.
All right. So your topic is, I would never die for my beliefs because I might be wrong. I would never die for my beliefs because I might be wrong. Sourindra sir.
Beliefs are your personal value systems. How are your personal value systems really valid for everyone else? Everyone has their own beliefs. Yes, there are common beliefs, and we all stay by them. We all stand by them. But those beliefs are basically my experiences or what I have heard from people, which I have imbibed as beliefs. It could be right, it could be totally wrong. And therefore, I will definitely give the benefit of doubt and say that I may be wrong. And therefore, it is me who will have to accept others' beliefs, others' viewpoints, and how others look at life. Till very recently, I believed that there were a group of people who actually found it difficult to accept problems within our colony, which was basically on the water not being enough in our supplies. And then I realized that they too had problems. They had to construct a house where, because of the pandemic, they did not get enough people. And therefore, they had to store water because they were not getting water from outside, from tankers. And therefore, my belief, which I held on very strongly, turned out to be very different when I was empathetic to their way of thinking. And therefore, I was wrong. And I therefore believe, ladies and gentlemen, that you cannot hold your beliefs against everything. If you don't, you will be successful and the world will be easier to live in. Over to you, Mr. Toastmaster. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, distinguished Toastmaster Sourindra sir. Next, we have Toastmaster Priyamvada attempting the topic. And a simple one for you, hopefully. Happiness is the highest good. Happiness is the highest good. Toastmaster Priyamvada.
Happiness is the highest good. So I've heard people talking about happiness, and I have seen an advertisement a long time back when I was really small. It goes like teachers used to ask a student, "What is your goal in life?" And some used to say, "I want to be a doctor." Some used to say, "I want to be uh, anything engineer or something." But there was a student who used to say, "I want to be happy." So that made me happy in those times. So So I kind of believe in this philosophy that happiness is the highest good. Of course, since then I have just got that add into my memory. So yeah, happiness is the highest good. Sure.
It was a fantastic first attempt, Priyamvada. The first time I attempted table topics, I think I did not even last for 15 seconds, and I was bored away. Not bored away.
Same.
Toastmasters is a supportive organization.
Same.
But yes,
And
I
my
felt I was
heartbeat
bored
was
away.
like,
Yeah, but
my
yeah,
heartbeat was like it was 5 times. So
amazing.
yeah, I felt that it was so new to me.
Welcome to Toastmasters, and I hope you
Thank
give
you.
100 more speeches down the line. Who do we have next? Surbhi. Surbhi, so your topic is, please take your time to comprehend this. The mind is furnished with ideas by experience alone. The mind is furnished with ideas by experience alone. Surbhi.
There have been times in all of our lives when we think that what we have experienced is enough, and all what we have experienced is something that can make us uh, go through our lives. However, there is always something more to learn. And in my own experience, in my own life, I always used to think till my college that I am strong enough to lead my life in the way that I want to, and I can achieve anything related to my own personal goals, as I always have an ideology of having a long-term goal and setting my short-term goals accordingly. So when this COVID situation happened, I came home from my hostel, which I was living in for 3 years, and I never thought that this can be a very different and also a very difficult experience for me, an audacious life journey for me. And I always used to feel that it is not that big of a deal because I always used to live with my friends. However, when I came home, I acknowledged and started embracing the power within myself, which was being comfortable only with myself and not finding a company always to cherish for. And I feel that your experiences are the ones that make you you can learn every day, and such experiences like trying to get comfortable with yourself is also is big in itself, because most of the times what we do is we burden the other person with our responsibility of our own happiness, and we fail to recognize that that person might take that responsibility for a shorter period of time, but they will definitely run away when it becomes long enough. So our experiences are definitely the ideas that help us in furnishing our mind. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you for that candid sharing of your experience, Surbhi. Toastmaster Jim, will you like to go next?
Okay, yep.
Sure. So, Toastmaster Jim, be the change that you wish to see in the world. Be the change that you wish to see in the world, Toastmaster Jim.
Since retiring, I have taken up cooking. And I learned Indian cooking and Western cooking, Japanese cooking, Chinese cooking. And there are many, many techniques in doing the different things. I'm particularly interested in bread, how they make breads in different places. And what I found very interesting was that I was able to use some techniques from the Chinese cooking, which is steaming, and apply it to Western cooking. Case in point is the Christmas turkey. How many have had Christmas turkey that was similar to eating a pair of leather shoes. It is so dry and so tough. And I just couldn't do it. I could get the skin crispy. I could, do most of it. The legs turned out well, but the body is just like a pair of leather shoes. So what I did was I did the steaming from the Chinese side. I steamed the turkey first to cook it inside to the internal temperature. Then you pull it out, you dry it, and then you put it back in the oven to do the skin to make it crispy. And it worked perfectly. And this is the change that I've been selling onto other people so that they can enjoy cooking. And we can all explore how we can take some cooking techniques and apply it in other dishes from around the world. And what can you do? Can you apply some of your technical knowledge in a completely different context? Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thanks a lot, Jim, for sharing that personal story. Distinguished Toastmaster Vijaya, will you like to go next? You're on me.
Sure.
Sure. So the topic for you is, without music, life would be a mistake. Without music, life would be a mistake. Distinguished Toastmaster Vijay.
Thank you, Table Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters. Without music, life would be a mistake. I think it depends on the time frame, depends on how situation in your life. Early on, when a child is born, the baby is like the lullabies. Mommies play the music or song, they sing the song, any word that she uses without even meaning. The rhythm is what fascinates the baby. But after some time, we change and we take different paths. Some like music, some don't. There's no right or wrong in life. It's all individual experiences. I've been listening to music for many, many years. And again, music is also diverted into many different types of musics. So many different types of music. So it can be cultural, it can be national, it can be geographical or individuals. There are plenty of music that we can listen to, and what you are tuned to is based on your own mindset, what you are inclined to. I used to listen to South Indian or Indian Carnatic music a lot. By many, many famous singers are there in South India. I used to listen to them all. Of late, for the past 10 years, or more than 10 years, I've been more into philosophical reading than listening to music. The music interprets the words, what is written in the scriptures. So I'm more into the meaning of what is written than saying it as a mantra or aphorisms or listening to the music. So I think there is no right or wrong. Again, it depends on the individual, our own experiences, our own inclinations. Doctors can, some go to doctor's field, medical field, some go to engineering field, some goes to army. So it all depends upon individual interests. So that's what I think music is also. Thank you, Table Topic Master.
Thanks a lot, Distinguished Toastmaster Vijay. Unfortunately, we are out of time. So we'll take the future table topic in the next meeting. I'd like to have
Diana's response.
Yes, I'll paste that in the group chat. So yeah, she has messaged to me privately. I'll share with everyone in group chat. Thank you. Over to you, our ex-president, Toastmaster of the Day, Unique, to take it forward. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anshman, for that brilliantly connected table topics. So back to the riddle. Anybody has any answers to that can share on the chat window. I actually got one answer, but I'll get back from Toastmaster Jim, but I will get back to that later. But what if I say, so if you have any answers, you can share on the chat box. I think I have some this time. Yeah. So yeah. So what if I say the purpose of the riddle is not to solve the riddle? So this the one example I shared you is what in Zen Buddhism is called koans. These are called koans. So these are basically riddles which are not meant to be solved. They are meant to make you realize that the human brain has a very limited capacity of thinking, and it cannot formulate our existential questions by this brain we have acquired by evolution only. So another riddle like this would be so once there was Zen master, his disciple asks him, what is how will I get how will I get enlightened? So the master responds, did you wash the dish in which you ate the food? And at that moment the student was enlightened. So we don't know you cannot really comprehend with this with your human brain, and that's what the purpose of this koan is. Having said that, I received answer from Toastmaster Jim. He said that speaking anything would not make any difference, because he's eventually going to fall. So the lesson here is that you should accept your situations, and that will set you free. So I'm loosely translating, but I think that's what he meant. uh, so that is his interpretation, but there can be multiple interpretation or no interpretation at all. So this takes us to the philosophy of Buddhism. So I think Buddhism is one of the most famous philosophies, and there are more well-read people here than me to explain Buddhism. But I just wanted to tell you this side of Buddhism, in which it says that Toastmaster Vijay is saying in some situations silence is golden. So in this part of Buddhism, it is basically trying to tell you that you have to accept that you cannot know everything, and that includes the meaning of life also. Sometimes maybe the meaning of life is just to live it or not. You don't know. The thing is that whatever you want to take the next step depends on you, but you have to comprehend that the human brain might not be able to lead you that way. But yeah, Buddhism can be explained in detail, and I'm not the right person for that. But yeah, maybe someday you can discuss it with me offline. Now I would like to move to the next section, and this is the evaluation section. And for this, let me welcome on stage our general evaluator for the day, Toastmaster Aruna.
Thank you, Toastmaster Uni. Before starting on the evaluation section, I would like to launch the polls for the table topics. The polls are launched. Let's move on to the general evaluation section, and we start the general evaluations like, first we will have the evaluations for the prepared speakers, then we will have evaluation about the table topics, and then comes the tag team. In the end, I will give my notes for the meeting as a whole. Let's start with the evaluator one, Toastmaster Vijaya, who would be evaluating Toastmaster Surjit for his icebreaker. Over to you, Vijaya.
Thank you, General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. Surjit, is this your first icebreaker, first time Toastmaster, or you're doing the second path? Let me start with that question. I can't hear you. Are you brand new Toastmaster?
Not audible.
Yeah, not
so
audible.
Not audible.
Is he giving the first?
It is his second path. He's
second path.
He's not in his.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify that because the evaluation changes from different perspective. Wow, what an audacious beginning. I could imagine the war front and how you get the orders, high command. I could visualize that, and with 120 soldiers from India and 2,000 from the opposite side, I could just imagine the starting. The beginning itself was very vivid description. I enjoyed it. The one thing that I saw was your voice modulation was great. Your hand gestures very awesome. Even though we are in a small rectangular area, your hand gestures were very visible. One thing I noticed was the distance between your head and ceiling was too high. Maybe, I don't know whether you are standing or sitting. I couldn't figure it out. But preferably, they say if you keep your ceiling closer to the, your head closer to the ceiling, that means you adjust your camera or position of the computer. Your face is fully visible. Your facial expressions are fully visible. That is the only thing that I noticed, that you can take it as room for improvement. But then the speech was very gradual progression. You started with a story, very beginning story from your father and how he inspired you to get into the army, to your experiences in the army, to your weaknesses that you identified, then taking action. What are your weaknesses? Being shy and lack of confidence. Then from there you decided to join Toastmasters. And then once you join Toastmasters, then you think your dream was different. The reason was different, to see the smile in everyone's face. That was your goal, purpose. That answers the philosophical question also, the purpose of your life. And you made the thread so vividly from starting from the dynamic, audacious war front to seeing the smiling face in everyone. That was very inspiring, very well thought of, very well presented. Thank you. Thank you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Vijaya. Moving on to the next evaluator for today, Toastmaster Madhav, who will be evaluating the speech by Toastmaster Samridhi. Madhav, do you want to do an audio?
Hi, Toastmaster Anima, am I audible? Hello?
I think Arunima lost connectivity. You're audible.
Okay, no worries. Thank you, Toastmaster Anandima. Toastmaster Extraordinaire. I hope I am pronouncing that right. It was a title, and I think that you did justice with the title, because explaining the personality of Toastmaster, I am gonna praise Toastmaster Anshuman again, but explaining his personality, he is indeed a extraordinary Toastmaster. But what I could find in your speech was this skill. When you read a book, you see authors explaining a particular character, explaining about a personality in such a good way that you could imagine that person, and you could imagine how that person would be, how that person would react or would talk to you. And I could really imagine, through you explaining the personality of Toastmaster Anshuman, you really demonstrated that skill, and I am really looking forward to learn this skill from you. Now coming to next good thing, your hand gestures were really in right place, that they were perfect. And during your speech, you picked that glass, you sipped water, and it really was something different that I saw today. And I would really say that I saw your Toastmaster, and you really have come to became a good speaker, and I would really give kudos to you for doing that. Now coming to a few points that you could improve, I could see that you got distracted a lot while speaking. I don't know what you were doing with the screen. I think that you were giving your speech using phone. That's why you were swiping it. But you can work on that. You can be less distracted from your surroundings. I could see that while speaking, you were looking like this sometimes. So you could work on that as well. Coming to second thing that you can work on is the structure of your speech. You started with explaining Toastmaster Anshuman's personality. You continued praising him, but you could have concluded it more. You could have. I thought that your ending was quite abrupt, because you could have said, like, I learned because Anshuman demonstrate these things, or Anshuman, these are the good things with Anshuman. That's why I have learned these things from Anshuman. All you got inspired with Anshuman. I couldn't understand why, like, you could have ended it quite. You could work on it. You could work on the structure of the speech that I could feel while listening to a speech. Otherwise, it was a great speech. I think that you are doing great. So try doing the working on the point that I just said. All the best for your journey. Thank you. Over to you, Unique.
Toastmaster Arunima, are you back? I don't think she's in the meeting. So no worries. We can continue to the third evaluator. And I would like to welcome on stage Toastmaster Megha for the third evaluation.
Good evening,
Over to you.
everyone. Can you also put Priyanka on spotlight? Possible?
Sure. I don't know how to put two people on spotlight actually.
Okay, we just add. Otherwise, it's okay.
Okay. Okay, I'll try. I'll try. You continue.
Yes. Priyanka, I congratulate you on delivering such a wonderful speech. We have heard this phrase, grass is greener on the other side, but I have never heard of such a beautiful narration. From giving example of your sibling that you when once felt that your sibling is getting more portion and regretting the dress you left in the rack, all those examples were so relatable that we felt like you are speaking our heart out. And also, as you gave your speech standing, you were able to use your hands and movements. We actually felt like we were watching a wonderful story. You gave wonderful face expressions, like when you said, "Can you see the sweat dripping from my face?" And also using wonderful voice narrations, voice modulations. For example, when you mentioned, "The flat was tired and I was standing under the scorching sun." Your voice modulations, your tone from low to high, giving pause and giving stress upon the words were so effective that I felt like if I have heard your speech with my eyes closed, I could have imagined as I was listening to you. I was there with you when you mentioned about your Hyderabad campus. I was there with you when you were riding your yellow bicycle. And I was there with you when you were making a call to your sister. So it was a wonderful story narration. And I tell you, I had a very tough time finding some points where you can improve upon. But as your speech was so great, I really want that few of the suggestions that I can give you would really help you to make it even better. Like you gave a very wonderful opening, giving example of your sibling where you felt that she was getting a more portion, and then you gradually move to your story. In between, you could have created space by maybe after giving those examples of yours, you could have greeted that good evening, Toastmasters and dear guests, and then you have continued upon your story. So could have given a little bit of space for the audience to absorb that, yes, this is what we're going to speak about. And your hand movements were throughoutly very purposeful. But at some instances, I felt like you were a little clueless what to do with your hand movements because I felt like somewhat like this. As your hand movements were so effective that few moments where you could not use it, they were quite visible. So because you were such a wonderful story narration, I really want to work upon your hand movements as you work upon your voice modulations and delivery. And overall, as I would like to say, gave the perfect story narration. It had the voice modulation, it has a face expression, and also it had a wonderful moral of the story. I feel like it's such a speech which can go to the international speech contest as a finalist. So all the best, Priyanka. I look forward to hear from you more. All the best. Over to you.
Thank you, Megha, for that wonderful evaluation. Can we launch polls for the best evaluator? Evaluator 1, Vijaya, Evaluator 2, Madhav, Evaluator 3, Megha. I think there is
Yeah,
the
so
wrong name.
the
So Evaluator
initially
1.
Anshuman was supposed to be there. Yeah,
Yeah,
if you want to vote for Vijay, vote for Anshuman.
yeah. So please vote for Anshuman in case you want to vote for Vijaya. Let's move on to the evaluation for the evaluators. The first evaluator was Toastmaster Vijaya. I really like how she went into the details and spoke about the camera angles and everything, and how she said that he delivered a good speech along right at the right times, making the gradual changes. The evaluator two, I am sorry, I missed out and I could not hear what evaluator two had to say. Maybe I can check afterwards. And moving on to the evaluator three, who was evaluating Toastmaster Priyanka. Megha, you gave a wonderful evaluation. You followed the CRC approach, and it was good to hear from you. Let's move on to the evaluations for table topics. So our first topic speaker was DTM Rupinder Singh. I really like how he connected with the theme philosophy, and he made a humor out of it. Moving on to the next table topic speaker, Shaurya. Diana. Diana, you had a wonderful idea about how you portrayed it. Moving on to the next speaker, Shaurya, table topic speaker. Shaurya, you started well. Maybe you can speak for a minute or two, like for a minute more about it, and you can tell in detail. Then we had DTM Sourindra as our speaker, and sir, you did a great job. Moving on to the next table topic speaker, Priyamvada. Priyamvada, it was a very good start. If I would have been a table topic speaker for the first time, I would have not done a great job. But you did quite well. Kudos to you. The next table topic speaker was Surbhi. Surbhi, you did an excellent job. You explained everything. You followed an Oreo approach, and it was good to hear from you. The last speaker for today, a table topic was Jim. Jim, you did a great job, like how you told about your story. With this, we'll move on to the tag team report. The first is Grammarian Sandeep.
Thank you, Toastmaster Runama. And good evening, everyone, once again. So today we witnessed, some amazing words, phrases, and the use of English language. I have noted down the good usage and the bad usage, which I'm going to tell you now. But before that, I'd like to congratulate Toastmaster Unique and Toastmaster Vijaya for using the word of the day twice. So congratulations to both of you. Some of the good usage of the English language was second school of philosophy. The words like diligent, procrastination, dynamic personality, awestruck, astonished, bubble of energy, standing under the scorching sun, hilarious, imbibed, comprehend, speaking our heart out. So these were the good use of some amazing words. And now some some words or phrases which could have been worded in a better way. One of the speaker used "we will be welcoming." It could be like "we welcome." Then there was "every soldier were large in number." It could have been "there were large number of soldiers." And one of the speakers said, "I did MCA from Jammu." It could have been like, "I completed my MCA from Jammu." Then one of the speaker used "understand." You understand my pain. It could have been better worded like, "you felt my pain." Then someone you said gaps in speaking. It could be pauses while you speak. And someone said I was very small. It could be I was very young. And then someone said inspired with Anshuman. It could be inspired by Anshuman. So these were the some phrases or sentences which could have been worded in a better way. So I think that's all from my side. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Over to General Evaluator for today.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry for that. Over to General Evaluator, Toastmaster Arunima.
Thank you. Next, our tag team has a counter, Sourindra Bhowmick. Can we hear it from you? Your report.
Thank you so much, Madam General Evaluator. I would take a moment to show my report by sharing the screen, and I would put it up here. I hope all of you can see it. Now, I start with the Sa, which was Rupinder, and as a Sa, he had no filler words or any unintended fillers or repetitions. Anshuman, as the presiding officer, I saw 6 UNOs. One, I saw 6 R's, and there were 3 repetitions. In all, there were 17 filler words and other things put together. Unique, your data I have not uploaded, but I can just read it out for you. And you had more than 10 R's here, which I think you would need to look at. This is more than 10. I stopped counting after 10. And was 1, which I'm adding now. And was another one. So in all, you had much more than 11 filler words or crutch words and other things which had to be filled up. Arunima, as of now, I know I'm going to be beaten up for this. You have used the word like as many as twice. You had 1 R, which is fine as of now. So you have 2 such words which needs to be looked at. Besides that, I think everything is fine with you. Surjit, as the first speaker, you had no filler words, and you did a great job by ensuring that you don't make any mistakes. I then come to Samridhi. Samridhi, you had, again, sorry, I beg your pardon. Sujit, you had 9 total filler words. Samridhi, you were brilliant. There was not a single filler word that I could catch up with. The last prepared speech was by Priyanka, and I saw her doing, one was a pause, a long pause, and I saw her doing 2 other repetitions, by which she has 3 filler words as of for stoppers. As far as the table topics, or the tabletop master for that matter, Anshuman, I did not capture you with any filler words, which is absolutely kudos to you. Rupinder had 1 R, whereas Shreyash had 1 UNO, 1 and 1 how do I say, which are filler words, 3 of them. Then we had me, I didn't record mine. Priyamvada, you had 3 UNOs. one so, one yah, and that made it 5 as a total. Surbhi, you had the R, which was 6, and was 1, which made it 7. Vijay, you had 5 times, and you had a repetition, which was twice. So that was 7 calls. Madhav, you have 1 1 like, 11 hours, 1 which makes it 14 in all. Sandeep, you had once and 8 hours. And I will now look for what Vijaya has to say as far as the overall numbers are concerned when she comes in as a timer. My only request to you as our counter is this data for yourself, if you can just write it down on your pad. And next time when you come in to make a speech, please look at it so that you are aware of it. There are very high numbers of hours going around. You can cut it down if you're a little conscious about it. With that, over to you, Madam G. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for that detailed report. And last from our tag team is the timer for the day, Toastmaster Rama.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Now I would like to share my timer report. Meeting started well on time at 7 p.m. today. There were 2 disqualifications today. Now starting with the prepared speakers, Surjit took 6 minutes 2 seconds. Samridhi took 3 minutes 30 seconds. And Priyanka took 7 minutes and 39 seconds. Now coming to the table topic speakers, Rupinder spoke for 2 minutes 17 seconds. I did not check for Diana as she wrote her topic. And Shreyash spoke for 1 minute 10 seconds. Sourindra spoke for 2 minutes 21 seconds. Priyamvada spoke for 1 minute 6 seconds. Surbhi spoke for 2 minutes 17 seconds. Jim spoke for 2 minutes 7 seconds. And Vijaya spoke for 2 minutes 5 seconds. Now coming to the evaluator. Vijaya spoke for 2 minutes 55 seconds. Madhav spoke for 3 minutes 18 seconds. And Megha spoke for 3 minutes 27 seconds. Now coming to the tag team, Sandeep spoke for 2 minutes 10 seconds. Sourindra spoke for 5 minutes 34 seconds. And mine is 2 minutes. And I would like to give one feedback to the speakers. If you see the red card, please wrap up your speeches because you might be the winner, but due to time limit, you can lose that trophy. Thank you so much. Over to General Evaluator.
Thank you, Rama, for the detailed report. Our tag team has done a wonderful job. The only recommendation for the grammarian is maybe if he can share the Excel file, and then it's better for everyone to look at in. And for our counter, sir, you did a great job. My only request is if you can wrap it up within the given timeline. I think you went over time. And same for Rama, that if you can use the screen sharing to show the times recorded, maybe, and you can. And yes, one of the advices as given by the timer for the day, please wrap it up once you see the red card. You might be a winner, but just because of exceeding the time limit, you could not be. With this, I'll start the evaluation and we'll have the polls for the best tag player. Since we are running short of time, while the polls are launched, I'll start for the quick evaluation for the meeting. The meeting started well on time. Sergeant at Arms did a great job. And moving on to the presiding officer, he is a happy person. As you can see, he brought the excitement and the vigor, makes the members and guests motivated to attend the meeting till the end. The role player for today, TMOD, Toastmaster Unique, he chose a very great theme, philosophy, and I think most of the members and guests also tried relating with it. They have used this word in their speeches or in the table topic sessions, and I think this is a theme where everyone could relate to. Everyone has something or the other as their philosophy, and it is good to bring the ideas on the table. Kudos to you, Toastmaster Unique, for that. Table topic session was indeed a great fun. There was something new which I learned, and the warm up that Toastmaster Anshuman did before starting the session was a cherry on the cake. And I think maybe in future also we can do that. Then moving on to the evaluation session, the general evaluator could have used the better network connection so that the evaluations were not disrupted. Evaluations went on well. The tag team did a great job. All the polls were launched within the time. The decorum was maintained. We did not had any uninterrupted sounds or any wrong videos. Kudos to us for a wonderful meeting. And with this, I'll hand over the stage back to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Unique.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jarima, for that brilliant General Evaluator report, and kudos to your team for conducting it so smoothly. So we have covered essentialism, existentialism, some of the Buddhist philosophy, but now let's come to my favorite one, and I hope I have some time to discuss it. So let's start from the beginning. We were discussing meaning of life, but meaning inherently means that we are expecting things to be predictable. So we are imposing an order onto things. But that's where the philosophy which I really like of late has come into play. It is called absurdism. According to it, all the pain is because we as human want order and want reason in life. But the universe is orderless and it doesn't care for any order or something. And when these two, our expectations and the universe collides, this is what gives rise to the absurd. And this is a school of philosophy called absurdism. And a famous philosopher in this would be Albert Camus. So what happens when the person realizes this absurdness of life? Well, it is what most of us do, suicide. So you would be wondering that most of us don't commit suicide, but suicide can be of two types. One is physical suicide, which all of us know. Second is a philosophical suicide. Basically, we give up the search for meaning and try to live a mellow life and become kind of frustrated with this meaninglessness of the universe towards us. But there is a solution to this as proposed by Albert Camus, and I'm going to just narrate a short story describing that solution. So once there was a Greek god called Sisyphus. He was a very cunning man, and he could make fool of everyone. Once he made fool of the gods who came to take him to he was dead, who came to take him. He made a fool of them also and returned alive. So for this, he was given a punishment. For eternity, he will get a boulder and he will take that boulder up the mountain, and as soon as it reaches the top of the mountain, it will slide again to the bottom and he will again have to carry it. So that was what he will do for eternity. Carrying that boulder, it will go down and he will carry it again. Does this sound familiar to like our lives? Don't we, most of us, what we do also similar routine every day, and no matter what we do at the end of the day, the same day is again going to start the same way, isn't it? So what do you do in this kind of situation? I mean, it's not a very exciting situation to say the least. But Albert Camus has a solution for this. He says we can assume that that Sisyphus is happy carrying that boulder. While carrying that boulder, he is able to see the birds that are chirping, the trees that are growing along the side of the mountain, the grass which is greener than ever, and he can find meaning even that in that mundane task of carrying that rock. So, according to Albert Camus, all the meaning or all the happiness in life lies in the mundane tasks. How much you can, it's not in special events, it's in the mundane task. And revolting against the uh, randomness or absurdness of the universe is that I know universe is absurd, but I'll still find some meaning. Even if I don't find meaning, I'll find meaning in the meaningless and try to remain happy with what I have. That is basically the philosophy of absurdism. It's coming up, and I think you will hear it in mainstream in the next few years. But yeah, do try to read about it. But with that, I would like to conclude of the session. And I know I haven't covered a lot of philosophies, but in case you are a philosophy buff like me, I'll share my number in the chat box. You can always connect with me offline. So yeah, looking forward to chat with you guys. And now I would like to hand over stage to our presiding officer. And our presiding officer at the beginning had some urgent tasks. So our backup man, the main man, Mr. Dependable is back, and he's taking up the role of presiding officer. Let's welcome on stage Toastmaster Madhav Upadhyay.
Thank you, Unique. And I really find your theme to be very engaging, and your throughout the session, throughout the meeting, I could connect with your theme, and I hope everyone else also could connect with you, because while and first of all, I am into philosophy. I read about it and I try to know more about it. And you introduced me to something new, which is absurdism, and I would really like to go back and read about it. Now, coming back to our guests, we are going to take feedback from our guests while the
for best role player before we take the feedback, so that certificates can be ready.
Okay. So we'll be having polls for best role players, Toastmaster the Unique. Okay. I would cast my vote. Okay, now coming back to feedbacks, I would be requesting guests to give feedback to us, whatever happened good, what they felt good, and what they felt could be improved, and we would surely gonna work on them. Starting with Jim. Jim, would you like to give us some feedback?
Yeah, great meeting. I like the questions in the philosophical questions from Unique and the table topic questions. They were all very interesting and caused us to think more deeply. I was wondering, as a trial, why not have a dedicated table topic evaluator? Because the GE seems to be really, really overworked in every meeting. And if you have a dedicated table topic evaluator, they can really look at each speaker, as if they're really a table topic evaluator, go into more depth about using stories or how they can improve, since it's also a district contest. So that's how we improve. Back to you.
Thank you, Jim. I agree, and I hope our educational team would have noted it, and we would discuss it within us to decide the pros and cons, and we would surely gonna work on it. Now coming to, we have Nasir. Nasir, our very own member. would you like to give us some feedback? I think Nasir is not there. Then Vijaya, would you like to give us some feedback?
Thank you. Thank you. It was a great meeting, very productive meeting. I really enjoyed the meeting today. I was very impressed with the the introduction of philosophy and table topic questions related to that. This is the first club where I have experienced that my favorite topic, which is philosophy. So generally in Toastmasters, this is not encouraged, mainly because we can have conflicts. That's the reason. Especially in the US, it's the land of immigrants. People come from different backgrounds, different religions. So we want to bring it a synchronization situation. That is why we don't encourage here. But I think in a homogeneous country, society, it's okay to discuss that. That is my opinion. Fabulous participation. My only suggestion is timer report. Maybe in our club, what we do is anyone we are over 5 points, 5 hours or arms, anything number more than 5, we said just call the name. Okay, you had more than 5. That way we don't want to discourage those members, but at the same time they can realize that they are over 5 instead of giving a detailed report in public. And then in private message, we can mention what it is to that person. That will also save some time. And that is one thing that I thought. And also the timing, like you went over like 8 minutes instead of saying that. Of course, it is. I mean, it's only for the contest that we have 7 minutes and 30 seconds. On a regular club meeting, you can mention the time, but it is not a contest. So they are aware of it. At the same time, we are not publicizing their negative things that they experienced in public. And that's my thought. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Vijaya, for putting your opinion out. But I think that normally in our meetings, timer presents their report, but due to logistical reasons, probably Rama could not present her report. Otherwise, she wouldn't have spoken those times. So yeah, she can, or we can probably work on it going forward. Thank you for that feedback. Okay, now Diana is raising her hand. Thank you, Diana. I think that you are one of our constant visitor to our club, and you can probably write your feedback as well in chat. I would read out that as well. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now coming to DTM Surinder. Thank you for playing role. We would like to hear about the feedback as well.
Thank you so much for having me here, Unique, and let me thank Unique for having given me this opportunity. It's been some time that I have not come to your club, whatever reasons that I know, but I would feel that this has been one of those wonderful evenings that I have spent, and I have seen so much and I've learned so much. And maybe I have also made certain comments. But in private, I would like to share some of these, which as Vijaya said, it's better not to discuss in these forums. But in private, I do have a couple of views which I will share with you or with Unique, so that if you could implement that, it could be useful. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I thank you for that feedback, and I hope we have also learned something from you. All of us have learned something from you. I don't think that we have. Please correct me, Unique or Arnima, if we have any more guests. If
I
I missed
don't think
someone.
we.
No,
No,
we
you
don't have.
are.
We have been
You
very
have
diligent.
taken. Yes,
Okay.
and now you can present certificates.
Yeah. So Techmaster, could you please present
Yes.
the result of the poll?
Yeah, so I'll be presenting in absence of Rupinder and Anshuman. So I was not able to prepare the certificate, so I will just announce the winners now, and later Rupinder will send you the certificates. So coming to the table topics, uh, we declared top three of for the table topic speakers. So our third best table topic speaker, the second runner-up is Toastmaster Surbhi from Spearhead Toastmasters Club. Congrats, Surbhi. And you can all unmute yourself now and clap loudly for the winners. So next, the second runner-up and the first runner-up actually got the same number of votes. But I'm just, so, forgive me, I just like tossed a coin and decided first and second. So Toastmaster Jim is the second runner-up for his brilliant attempt, and Toastmaster Vijaya is the first runner-up, is the winner for the table topics. I have taken luxury with Toastmaster Jim since he's a regular guest. Next, I'll come to the best auxiliary role player, and the award goes to our counter for today, distinguished Toastmaster Sourindra Bhowmick. Kudos to Sourindra.
Thank you. Thank you.
And our best role player. Well, it was a close contest, but finally the Toastmaster they won. But I would say that all the role players contributed in this meeting to make it a great success. Next, I would like to come to the best speech evaluator. So she was a guest. She has left, but our best evaluator today is Toastmaster Megha. Let's have a huge round of applause for her, and I'll make sure that she receives her certificate. And last but not the least, the best speaker for today. Well, we had a disqualification on basis of time, and after considering a disqualification, the best speaker for today is Toastmaster Surjit. Let's have a huge round of applause for Toastmaster Surjit. With that, the pollings have been concluded, and I would like to hand over the stage back to our presiding officer for his concluding remarks.
Thank you, Toastmaster Unique. I feel that we had a great, amazing meeting today. Another amazing meeting today, and all our role players were very good. They played their role to the really very well. And thank you for your theme for today. I myself felt engaging throughout the meeting. Be it table topics, be it Toastmaster of the Day theme, or be it the speakers, all played really well. And look forward to have more such meetings. I think that now we can close the recordings.